the way things are going to work today is we're going to do a quick, brief panel, and then we're going to actually break up and come sit with you guys, and then it's going to be like a speed dating kind of thing is what I like to call it. I'll sit down at table 1, 10 minutes, a bell will ring, I'll move on to table 2, 10 minutes, a bell will ring, we'll move on to table 3. So you'll get an opportunity to speak to everybody on the panel, and I'm also going to bring in a few other helpers to answer some of your questions that I think will be helpful. So that is how that's going to run. I would ask that you hold all questions till the end, only because then you can direct them at exactly who you want to ask them to and who would be the most appropriate person. As an introduction to our panel, they're all going to do an introduction of themselves, so I'll do something brief, but we are going to listen to Davis Ebert, who is a senior here at Forman. He's a 3-year senior. He is going to Stanford University. He is a head prefect, student ambassador, member of the National Honor Society, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about what it's like to go through the process as a senior. Then we have David Buckley, who graduated from Forman in 2013. He is going to talk to you a little bit about the transition into college. He's currently a junior at Fairfield University, and we're really excited to have him here. Dr. Kelly Miller, who I'm sure some of you have also spoken to, she's our school psychologist. She's going to talk to you about the differences between college and high school and college with regards to documentation and accommodations and that kind of stuff. Jim Tweed is the Assistant VP for Enrollment at LaSalle College. He's going to talk to you guys about the admissions process and what that looks like and what it's like to be on that side of the table. And then it'll come back to me, and I'll kind of wrap it all up with where we're going, where we're at, and what the college process looks like from here on out. So without further ado, Davis.
As Ms. Davis mentioned, my name is Davis Everett, and I'm from Tampa, Florida. I'm the head male prefect on campus, National Honor Society member, Green Key Society member, student ambassador, and varsity baseball captain. Off campus, I am a licensed pilot with an instrument rating, which took me 5 years to achieve. With my license, I hope to join the Air Force out of college. Let's step back for a second. I entered the Forman community as a nervous wreck. I was a 15-year-old kid that struggled in school my whole life. What does that really mean, though? I stayed up late doing homework, studying, trying to get better in every subject. So what makes me different? I have learning disabilities and was put into institutions that couldn't handle my needs. I can only remember one teacher at my past high school that understood that, someone I still talk to today. He reached out every time I had an English paper to write and guided me in a direction where I would later lay the foundation of my educational success at Forman. That aside, I used all the resources to study at my past high school, including my teachers and Quizlet, an online flashcard studies tool, for example. I had tutors and I had a learning center I would go to nearly every day off campus. Most of all, I had and still have a loving family that would help me with those lengthy assignments, and my father, who would work through math problems with me on a nightly basis until we had stolen all the paper out of the printer. It's fair to say that I had it all, but why wasn't I successful? Why wasn't I happy? Why wasn't there a positive correlation between my long hours of studying and high grades? I couldn't quite figure it out until I went to update my psychological evaluation report. Still working on that. The doctor who gave me the test recommended Forman. Dr. Font, her name was, asked my family if they would allow me to go to school in Connecticut that dealt with young adults with learning disabilities. My initial thought, no. I didn't want to leave home. Why would I? I didn't want to leave the support I had at home, the comfort, the tutors, the learning center, and my family. Let's face it, it was in excess of 1,000 miles from home, and Connecticut was, from what I knew, cold. What I didn't realize was that I was much more capable than a C or a D on a sheet of paper. I soon realized that if I gave this new school a shot, I might be less stressed all the time from assignments that just felt impossible to complete and to get a decent grade on. I worried that though I wanted to do the work myself, my parents had to guide me through each assignment so much that I often felt I didn't do the work. That all changed when I enrolled at Forman. I toured Forman in October of 2013, and within about a week after the tour, I officially became a Forman Lion. Forman made that much of an impression on my family and I. After all, it's a family decision. It felt as if, while on tour, every member of the community came out to say hello to my family, and the community genuinely wanted to get to know more about us. The tour was a never-ending series of people taking the time out of their busy academic day to get to know my family. That meant a lot and clearly made an impact. That's not to say that I wasn't nervous. And from sophomore year up till now, as soon to be alumni of Forman, I have changed. I am no longer a student who gets put down by others in my community. Instead, I work hard and get the grades I knew I could get, and that's attributed to this community that backs me up in every way so that I get the chance to excel academically, so that I have a social life for once as well. When you have a community like Forman, failure really isn't an option. The support far outweighs those of other high schools in the United States. It just does. Beyond the tutors that are offered nightly, the faculty truly care about you as a person. At Forman, the faculty care for your well-being. They care about you beyond that letter grade I talked about previously. They want to know more about you. They want to learn about you, not just teach you 75 minutes every day. That's important in my mind to become a strong student and an overall leader in the community and eventually the world. If you can surround yourself with people who are willing both to teach and learn, then success becomes not a mere possibility but a definite outcome. Having that confidence doesn't happen everywhere, but it certainly happens here at Forman. That confidence made me realize that the foundation set in stone, I could apply to with the foundation set in stone, I could apply to college and feel as if I could succeed in my later educational years. As I previously stated, I'm a pilot, so naturally I wanted to go all in on one college, in particular in Florida, and forget the rest. That would get me into the career I wanted to get into as fast as possible, and that's what I thought at the moment. I did indeed apply to an aeronautical college and was accepted. That being said, I also applied to 14 more and was accepted to them as well. Those colleges were all in the South because, as I learned, Connecticut was indeed too cold for me. I applied to some small and some medium-sized colleges with acceptances such as Elon University, Rollins College, Wofford College, and High Point University. Throughout the college process, I was looking to head back to the Southeast. Without talking to anyone about it, I knew I wanted a small school, a place where I didn't feel like just a number or just another student. I wanted to make a difference, something that I like to hope I've done at Forman. My mind was still on pursuing an aviation career path, but after talking to my parents and Mrs. Davis, I decided what was best for me. The college that I was going to have the greatest success was going to be one that gave students many opportunities to lead, somewhere in the Southeast with Southern charm, and most importantly, a place where I could get the services I needed for learning disabilities. I knew some of my friends wouldn't need them. I knew some of my friends wouldn't want or didn't need any more support, but I did. When I go to college, I want the peace of mind that I have the disability services that I had in the past at Forman, the services that Forman provided me. Thanks to Dr. Miller, we found the school on my list, a school that was in the South, close to home, with services that will give me the chance to learn more and excel in any field I choose. I made my decision to attend Sanford University on April 8th with the intention of joining the Air Force ROTC program, and haven't been happier since. Dr. Miller helped me make the decision on Sanford University. We met multiple times over the past few weeks in order to better understand what college in my top two would support me in my academic endeavors so that I could look forward to my future and not be as stressed as I was in the past. I'm proud to say that with the help of the college office, my counselor, Mrs. Davis, and Dr. Miller, I was able to find the right college for myself. I advise the current junior class students to find a criteria that best fits their personality and learning style. It's not just about it's not just about academics. It's about the entire college experience, social life included. I was blessed to have parents that let me build my own criteria to begin with. Giving advice to parents seems like an odd thing to do, but being the 19-year-old that I am, you all obviously have much more experience, and I respect that. With that said, if I were to give you all any advice in aiding with your child's college decision, it would be to let your child figure out what he or she wants in a college first. Where will they shine the most? Where will they succeed socially? Where will they find success in the classroom? And finally, if they need support like I opted for, what college will best fit that description for their respective learning disabilities? These are all questions that I answered myself, and questions that I later answered with my family after I had shaped what I thought would make a great college criteria. The support here at Forman in college counseling is well noticed by all. Each student who works with their counselor and is honest with them will see success in getting to the next level of education. Mrs. Davis, Mr. Sands, and Ms. Cooper take the time to get to know your children beyond academics in order to find the best fit for them post-Forman. The perspective and learning class that juniors take second semester and seniors take first semester certainly help make the decision less stressful. It's 75 minutes out of the day where students get the chance to focus on college essays, criteria, applications, and eventually their final decision. It's also a time where students can talk with their counselor, as I did. The support I've received in making my decision was amazing. I couldn't be more confident in saying that I am no longer a lost sophomore. I am a soon-to-be college student at an institution that best fits me. I really couldn't be happier and more appreciative of everything Forman's done for me. I now have a solid foundation to build on in college, and hopefully soon in the air. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. So my name is David Buckley, and I graduated in 2013 from here at Forman. I'm originally from Indianapolis, Indiana, and I'm now a junior at Fairfield University here in Connecticut. So prior to attending Forman, I went to Park Tudor School, a private college preparatory school in Indianapolis for 11 years. So I started there when I was 4 years old, and as early as first grade, they started noticing how I had many issues in school, primarily with math. So pretty much from 1st to 8th grade, I had tutors during the school year over the summer. It got frustrating, because it kind of felt, hello. It got frustrating though, because it really felt like I couldn't do anything on my own. I always kind of felt like I had to rely on others for any type of success. So I really didn't have confidence in school. I hated school, and I really just didn't believe in myself as a student, and that kind of brings down your overall morale as a person. So in 8th grade, my mom went on Google and tried to look up schools for kids with learning disabilities. Forman was the first school on that list, which told me it was in Connecticut. I thought, no, I'm not going there. I'm not leaving my home of 10 years at Park Tudor to go to a boarding school. I also didn't want the stigma of a boarding school. I didn't want people thinking I was being shipped away for doing something wrong. But then I decided to look at Forman. I gave it a chance. And when I first looked here, to be honest with you, I didn't think I was ever going to come here in a million years. It wasn't until my freshman year at Park Tudor that I thought, okay, something has to change here. So in 10th grade, I made the trek from Indiana to Connecticut. I was very nervous but excited for this new start, to have a second chance at school. So Forman definitely grew me as a person. During my time here, I was an honor roll student. I was a dorm prefect for 2 years, a tour guide, a member of the Green Key Society, and the National Honor Society. I was also accepted into 9 of the 11 colleges I applied to all across the country. So after riding off of this success at Forman, I got a little cocky. I made the decision to go to Fairfield University here in Connecticut. So I started out as a marketing major in the Dolan School of Business, which I didn't really know was very heavily involved with math in their core curriculum, which was my stumbling point. So like I said, entered in the school extremely cocky, thinking, hey, I did all this at Forman, I don't need help anymore. That was a mistake. My first semester, I took accounting, economics, and calculus. Not a great combination. So it wasn't until my sophomore year when I thought, okay, something really has to change here. So that's when I decided to swallow my pride and go to the Office of Disability Support Fortunately, Forman had sent in my documentation, so I was able to get an exemption from calculus and also receive other accommodations for my learning disability. And it was at that time when I decided I needed to make a change. So every time a new semester began, I would go up to the professor at the end of class, introduce myself, and even told them about my learning disability, which I found they really appreciated because it showed that I was very open and honest about any stumbling blocks I may have. So I decided to leave the business school because clearly its core requirements in math were not good for me. So I decided to transfer into the College of Arts and Sciences, which I am now a communications major with a marketing minor and a PR minor. Since the change, I've been able to explore all of the interests that I previously wasn't able to explore because of my rigorous academic load. So recently, I am now a junior. I am interning in Stamford, Connecticut with Indeed.com. And I also run a Spoon University chapter at Fairfield. And if you don't know what that is, it's a food blog that has over 150 chapters at colleges nationwide. My friend and I started it, and I'm proud to say that because of our work, we are one of the fastest growing chapters in the country. And we've actually had 4 other colleges that have personally contacted me into how to grow their chapters and get more student involvement. I also work with the Fairfield University Social Media Department. They came up to me because they were proud of some of the work I had done with my personal social media accounts as well as Spoon University. So I actually work with the university and help them come up with new social media campaigns and help run their accounts for them. This year I'm also a brand rep for the popular brand Vineyard Vines. So you had to apply. They only allow one applicant they only allow one rep per school, and there were about 15 that applied through Fairfield, and I was chosen. So I have to work very hard each semester to promote the brand in any way possible, which has been a fun way to meet new people on campus and get engaged. Like I said, I'm an intern at Indeed.com in Stamford, Connecticut. I work in client support, so I work with our clients to ensure that their satisfaction with our product is guaranteed. So I'm on the phone a lot of times with very angry people, and I have to calm them down, which is fun. And then this summer, I'm proud to say that I'll be working at a marketing and PR firm in London for a company that deals with lifestyle brands and tourism companies. So, to full circle everything, I started out completely hating school with no confidence. I never dreamed I'd be where I am today. Forman sculpted me into a confident leader and learner, and I now have the confidence to accomplish any task that I have chosen to pursue. Thank you.
Hi guys, can you all hear me in the back? Can I get, good, thank you. I'm Kelly Miller, I'm the school psychologist and director of the Learning Institute here at Forman. It is an honor to be at the table with the best of the best. And unfortunately, what I have to talk about is not as much fun as what they talked about. So Meredith has tasked me with describing the differences between high school and college, and there are many. And that's not to say that you have to take notes and remember everything from today forward. We are here and happy to answer questions all year round. So I can't underscore this enough. The kids hear me say it all the time, but you guys can hear it as well. The burden of responsibility falls squarely on the shoulders of your student, period. No IEPs are developed in college, so that's a bit of a change from even here at Forman. We don't have to follow the IEP, the federal guidelines, because we're not federally funded. But we do have documentation that is similar and supports the student. That's not developed and maintained in college. Instead, they have an accommodations plan, and they communicate it in different ways to the professors. It's wonderful what David said about going up and introducing himself as a student with a learning disability to each of his professors at the end of every first section of the class. But the Office of Disability Services Support will always send documentation to the professors, with the student's permission, of course, that certain accommodations must be made. The way that this information, like I said, is shared varies by school, so it's really important to ask those questions because it's very individualized. At some schools, students are required to reactivate their services through the Office of Disability Support every single semester. So that's another important question to ask when you're touring these schools. When you tour these schools, not only are you touring these schools, but you're touring that Office of Disability Support. It must be done. It's very important to do your research and kind of your homework for what their requirements are, whether it's every semester, whether it's every year, whether it's once and you're done. It varies greatly by each school. Unlike a high school setting or unlike any elementary school setting, modifications are not made to the curriculum in college. I shouldn't say not, but it's very, very, very rare. Appropriate documentation must be submitted in order to receive accommodations, and so we'll get into that. Although the timeline of what is considered to be current for an evaluation varies by each educational institution, typically 3 years is what is common. That's what I commonly see. I look for the kids all the time, at the schools that they're attending, what kind of documentation that they want, and making sure that their documentation fits the need of what the school has requested. However, I've seen as recent as 2 years, and I've seen as old as 5. So it's very, very, very important to ask these questions at the Offices of Disability Support Services. Evaluations must be comprehensive. It must include a test of cognitive functioning or your general IQ, a test of academic achievement. It may require social, emotional, or behavioral tests or other processing measures. It's rare that they do, but sometimes they do. I'm happy to help you with all of this. And generally, schools post this on their website. So my best rule of thumb is to, when you go to the website, there's always a search bar somewhere on the website. Just type in disability services. They each call the office something different at each school. So it's really important. If you just type in disability services, that will generally get you to where you want to be. Individual schools, this is majorly important. Individual schools will determine which accommodations are A, reasonable, and B, appropriate for the individual student based upon the evaluation. This is completed on a case-by-case basis. So we cannot guarantee that just because Susie got the accommodation here at Forman that she will also receive it in college. That can be a tough pill to swallow. And generally speaking, of the colleges that our kids tend to apply to and then matriculate into, those schools that I've been on the phone with are very flexible, and they really want to hear from these guys. They want to hear about what's worked well for them in the past so that they continue to provide those supports in the future. Oftentimes, if I'm able to make the phone call, I speak their language, so to speak, and I can get into the nitty-gritty of the details with them and really find out if what they say they offer is really what they do offer. So it's really important to kind of do your individual homework as you sort through the list of schools on your for your child, and I'm happy to help in any way I can. Thanks, guys.
Our whole philosophy is about that right fit. Jim just said it about LaSalle. Davis said it about his schools. That is what we do. That is what we do in this office. But I think with the school, you guys found the right fit in Forman for your students. That is exactly what we want to find within the college world. And we work really hard with you guys and with your kids to really help find that. Our goal is a balanced college list where we will have their safeties. Everybody in this room, every student that graduates will be excited to go to even those schools. Their whole list is about the fit. We have 100% college placement. And I don't say that in a way of like, hey, we have 100% college placement. Any institution could do that. We have 100% college placement with the students who want to go to those schools. It's not just about giving them an option. It's about giving them a choice. Davis is in a class of 58 kids. 6 of those students applied early decision. So of the 52 that are left, they got 296 acceptances as of right now. That is awesome. 52 kids, 296 acceptances. That's not just one school that every student has gotten into. This year, every student has gotten into 2 schools that they want to go to. It's giving them options. We work with a lot of different colleges, but also with you guys as parents and the students and the advisors and Jamie Dwan. As a whole, we work with the community to help find that fit in a college. And I hope that's come through today, because that really is what we live and breathe. That's what we want. We want them to find that success in college that they found here at Forman.